Hello Bros and welcome to Aspect Zero Profile Production and next bar the Sakura Alien. So let's jump off in where we left off last time. Take this! Bat in hand, he always swings at an crouching ball. That bat hits the ball with a satisfying thud, then shoots through the sky like a projectile. I watch its ascent and descent, one hand held to my eyes to blot out the wintry sunshine. The ball lands a few hundred feet away, bouncing against the turf. I must say I'm impressed. Whoa! Ina, who's long since tired of trying and failing to hit any of her own home runs, watches this spectacle with wide eyes, her hands clenched at her front. That was incredible, Hiyori. I had no idea you were capable of such feats. You humans can do almost anything when you put your minds to it. Truly, you are impressive species. Oh, it's not that impressive, really. I've always been fond of baseball ever since I was a little girl. I'm not all that good at sports. You're in the club. But baseball is one exception. It's special, I suppose. Oh yeah? I can't help but be curious about this. I know Hiyori for a while, but I had no idea she was good at baseball. I guess there's a lot about Hiyori I don't know. I never really cared to find out. Despite our supposed friendship, I always try to keep my distance. Was that callous of me? Oh well, there's no time like the present to learn a little more about her. Were you a part of a club back in school or anything? Oh no, it's nothing like that. I wasn't part of any club in high school unless you count a going home club. I never really fit in with my peers. I don't think they would wanted me around. My father, her father that is, likes baseball a lot, though he used to take me to games with him back when I was a child. I have a lot of fond memories of watching matches with him. I decided to pick up the sport myself. I didn't decide to pick up the sport myself, though I didn't have anybody to play with. There was a batting center like this near my parents' home, only a 5 minute walk away, that I often stopped by on my commute from school. I wasn't very good at baseball at first, but eventually I got into the swing of it. Hitting the ball with the bat is very satisfying. It's a good way to let off steam. Hiyori swings the bat again as she speaks, once more hitting the perfect home run. And I like watching the ball as it soars through the sky. It looks so free and untamed. I often wish I could be like one of those balls. Hero tips her head back, her choppy brown hair shifting in the breeze to observe the pastel sky. I too want to soar up into the sky someday and out of the atmosphere, and the Earth's gravitational pull up into the recess of space. I always felt ever since I was a child that's never quite belonged here. My real home isn't on this planet. I must be somewhere else above my head. I wonder where it could be. Here sets her bat down, then it's the batting cage. I guess she must be tired of playing baseball now. Not that I can blame her. She has been going at it for a while. George stretches, then looks at Ina. I've been giving it some thought. I've been wondering whether I come from the same planet that you do, Ina. Freed from its confines, she turns to look at Ina, smiling as she does. I know I'm no way of confirming that, of course. But I think that'd be nice if it were the case. Oh yes, I quite agree. If I had more friends on my home planet, perhaps I too would not have felt compelled to leave. I love Revi a lot, of course, but you can never have too many companions, particularly the kind ones like you. Thank you. Hearing you say that makes me very happy. Hero giggles. I don't know if I'm from Cornwall or not. I have no proof either way, but I'm sure my real home resides somewhere out there. I probably have another family who loves me, who are thinking of me even now. They might like baseball like my father does, but I'm sure they have other interests and hobbies. I want to share those interests with them. I would love to know more about them. I'm hopefully ignorant of my true parentage, but I am sure they exist somewhere out there. They must. After all, Yor looks at Ina, hands clenched at her front. You came here, Ina, from the stars. Your presence here is proof that aliens do exist somewhere out there. If you came to Earth from a different planet, that same may be true of me. I still believe she's full of, well, air. I don't believe she's an alien, but Ina is an alien. That's a confirm. No, Yor shakes her head. Must be true. I refuse to believe otherwise. If you feel that strongly about it, must be a grain of truth to it. Nobody knows ourselves better than we do, after all. Be we human or Corvin. Perhaps I can help you find your home planet one day, if ever I'm able to repair my spaceship. There's nothing to repair. You said it all burned up in the atmosphere. That might be fun. Oh yes, I would absolutely love that. Thank you so much, Ina. There's no problem. You and Aru have done so much for me already. You deserve it. It is only polite, or so I have heard, to repay others for their kindness. Press my lips together. I'm glad Hiyori looks so happy, but her insistence about her true origins is starting to perturb me. Why is Hiyori so insistent that she comes from another planet? Is being a boring ordinary earthling not good enough for her? Maybe her high school years have something to do with this. From what little I've gleaned, she didn't have much fun or any friends when she was a student. Isolation can nurture all sorts of strange beliefs in people. This alien must be coping mechanism. I can't take it seriously, even if Ina is, and I don't want to encourage Hiyori either. I just wish she would like herself for who she is, rather than one she wants to be. I know that's easier said than done, but I don't think this should be too impossible an undertaking. I like Hiyori just the way she is, so to such an extent, in fact, I consider her a good friend. I always enjoy spending time with her. Her cleanness notwithstanding, and she's easy to talk to. She means a lot to me, but telling her that might be awkward. I wouldn't want her to get the wrong idea. Sigh. Human relationships are so complex. I sometimes feel like an alien myself. Time passes and the day eventually comes to a close. The pale sun sinks beneath the horizon, sharing a dark sky full of stars. Ina, Hiyori, and I were kept busy all day passing about the city, taking in the sights. There's also my feet hurt from the all walking I've done, and my wallet is similarly aching after spending a not insignificant amount of money on the various tourist traps. I'm pretty tired after the day's event, but I'm nothing on Ina. She danced about the intent hinter like a kitten, and now, predictably enough, she's exhausted. Ina yawns as if to prove my unspoken point. The rests her head against my shoulder. Sleepily she links on through mine and murmurs. It was quite the day. Had a good deal of fun, but perhaps I exerted myself a bit too much. I must take more care to my pace myself in the future, least I fear I will mere myself out entirely. May I return to your apartment to reprocure now, darling? I could use a rest. You do look sleepy, certainly. Having a nap wouldn't be a bad idea, but there's one more thing I would like us to do. Oh? Look at Hiyori Askins. Is there a particular tourist attraction you want to go to, Hiyori? Not entirely, no. This is purely selfish request, but I have been pondering it for several hours now, and I cannot remain quiet. I realize Ina is tired, and I realize this may be a bad timing, but well, Hiyori inhales, taking a crisp mouthful of winter air, then says, would the pair of you mind coming back to my house? Have a warm beverage I can offer you. My living room is very cozy. I promise to make you feel at home. Your house. Now that is an interesting process. I've never actually been to yours place before. I don't even know what it looks like. I must admit, I'm curious. What prompted this? Oh, it's nothing, really. Your demurs, red-cheeked in a manner that clearly telegraphs she was prompted by something really. Yuri isn't very good at lying. I just wanted to speak to you about something, Harry. It is not a particularly important matter, but it has been weighing on my mind. It'd be awkward to discuss out here, though, so... Yuri looks at me shyly beneath half-lidded eyes. I thought it would be best to speak alone in my living room. Is that no good? You looks so unusually anxious. I can't help but feel compassionate. I don't want to turn her off, but I do wonder. I don't have any problems with that, but what about you, Ina? Would you mind coming with me to yours for a bit? Oh no, I don't mind at all. I too would like to see what your abode is like here. I cannot pass up a chance to observe how you Earthlings live. And as your friend, I would very much like to learn more about you. I would be glad to accept your invitation, although Ina yawns, yet more tears beating in her amber eyes. I fear I might fall asleep once I get there. I hope such a behavior would not be too unproportionable rude. Oh no, it's quite alright. I'm the one being rude, asking you to humor me like this. If you need to rest, I can let you borrow one of my guest bedrooms. My home is rather large. There is no shortage of space. Very well then. I shall look forward to it. Please lead the way. Of course, just follow me. Hio returns on her heels and sets off through the streets. I follow after her, half asleep, Ina clinging to me. Her cheeks rest against my shoulder, and her pale green hair flutters with every step she takes. She looks ready to pass out at any given moment. She seriously pushed herself too hard. But if given a chance to rid her the day, I doubt Ina would have behaved any differently. I know she had a blast. Watching her was enough to put a smile upon even my grumpy face, but Hughes' desire for discussion had put something of a damper on my good mood. What is it does she want to talk about? I suppose I'll find out soon enough. Here we are, home sweet home. So what the very thing? It's not too ostentatious, is it? I don't know if that's quite a word. I would use, but I say about Hero's living, momentarily awestruck. Hero's house isn't a mansion, but it's definitely one of large size. Her living room is sleek and fancy, with several neatly arranged couches and a vast flat-screen TV. It's significantly more upscale than my family home out in the countryside, and it's significantly more modern. This whole house looks like it belongs to a well-to-do upper-middle-class family. It's in a nice location too. It's a brisk walk away from the nearest train station, but it's situated on a quiet residential road without much traffic. The area of Tokyo far more peaceful than the area I live in. So way less trash strewn about outside on the sidewalk. Its living condition could be more different from the ones I used to. This is kind of crazy. Do you really live here, Yuri? Yes, really. I hardly wander into a strange house by mistake, and I wouldn't rent out a show home to trick you either. That'd be way too much effort to go through for a simple prank. Yeah, I get that. In retrospect, that would probably be a stupid question. Of course, he already lives here. The key wouldn't fit in the lock otherwise. There's still a lot to take in, though. Do you live here on your own? You're nuts. My parents don't live in Tokyo. They're home in Shiba. I know Shiba isn't far away from Tokyo, but my parents thought it'd be inconvenient for me if I had to commute for an hour every single morning. They always wanted to give me the best possible start in life, or so they say. So they rented this house for me to live in while I attend my studies. They didn't buy it outright. Buying a home such as this for 3 years of education would be wasteful, even from my parents' perspective. But they have sunk a considerable sum of money into it over the last couple of years. It all seems a bit excessive to me. But my parents are excessive people. They always had more money than sense. I remember you saying that once before. You said your parents were rich, didn't you? Yes, indeed. Incredibly well off. They've only been in Hiyori's home a few minutes, but I can't believe that. My parents would never be able to afford putting me in a house like this. Your parents might have bought this place, but renting it to Tokyo isn't cheap. My cruddy apartment cost an eye-watering sum as it is. I can't even begin to imagine how much this house must be. It's strange. He already doesn't dress or act like a wealthy young lady, but I suppose that must be. Should I start courtesing to her from now on, or calling her my lady? It would be fun to do it once, at least just a joke. It's funny though, but I don't think Hiyori would appreciate it. She looks unusually troubled sitting on her sleek modern couch, her fingers curled on her lap. This might be her home, but she looks even stiffer than I feel. I guess she's not comfortable to all the luxurious trappings despite growing up among them. Hiyori is far more relaxed when she is in the rundown astronomy club room. Could that be why she spends so much time there? The astronomy club room is more suiting, I admit, than this place. Fancy though this living room is, it's a bit too pristine. The walls and floor and furnishing are so neat and tidy it looks like something you find in a magazine. There's no warmth in here at all. I can't see many personal effects scattered about either. The atmosphere is uncomfortably chilly. I told my parents I'd be fine living in an apartment complex like most of my fellow students, but they wouldn't hear of it. They were afraid I would, I don't know, get robbed maybe, or that I would get into fights with my housemates. I suppose that's because I never fit in during high school. My parents thought it would be best off on my own and away from everybody else. Maybe they were right, but I never know that now. Your sights. Having a house like this to myself has its perks certainly, but I can be somewhat lonely. I admire you, Haru, having Koichi and the others to speak to. You're never alone. Oh, I don't know if my position is all that enviable. Koichi and the others can't stand me. I don't think that's true. They might be a bit fractious, and that's putting it lightly. But you seem to get well enough. They're always horsing around, don't you? I guess so, maybe. Your sights again. I would have loved to live somewhere with other girls whom I could befriend. I've been rather lonely living in this house all on my own. My parents say this is for my own good, but what do they know? I'm certainly entirely certain that they are my real parents. They always spoiled me ever since I can remember. They used to buy me toys and pretty dresses, and now they buy me fancy electronic gadgets and they pay my rent. I never wanted for anything, but it's always felt like they're overcompensating. You mean you think they're trying to buy you affection? That's exactly it. They're far more generous than other parents would be because they're not my parents. I'm certain I'm adopted. I've never seen any proof, not with my own eyes, but my parents get awfully cagey whenever I bring the subject up. It's suspicious. I wish they'd be honest with me. I'm 20 years old after all. But, hmm, I offer Ina punctures Hayor's complaints. Yours looks at Ina, abashed. Ina is sitting next to me on the couch, slumped against my side. Her eyelids are matted, and it looks like she's fast asleep. Why am I? Hayor smiles. I'm afraid all my talk must have bored her. She is out on the camp. I don't think Ina's bored. She's just tired. We did do a lot of walking today. She must have tired herself out. I suppose so. There's more I wish to discuss with you, Harry, but first we should probably put Ina to bed. There's a guest room upstairs with a nice soft bed. I'm sure she'll feel right at home there. I think we should be able to carry her together if you don't mind helping me. Of course not. Up you go, Ina. I'll come to Ina to her feet, who murmurs something incoherent and colors up against my shoulder. Which Hiyori helped by guiding up the stairs, then into the Hiyori guest bedroom. Apparently she has two. The pair was laying upon the bed, then draw the covers beneath her chin. She doesn't stir at all while, despite her jostling, her eyes remain shut, with breath soft and regular. She really must be exhausted. With Ina safely tucked up in bed, Hiyori and I then return to the living room. Hiyori offers brew me some tea, so to which I accept. Hiyori then heads to the kitchen while I sit in the neat, seemingly unused living room all alone. Hiyori's house might be gorgeous, but there's something awfully staid about it. I don't think I like it very much. Hiyori's perfect living room is so quiet it borders on sinister. Hiyori must feel horribly alone living in an isolated place like this. I wonder if there's something I can do to cheer her up. I'm pondering this when Hiyori returns from the kitchen, a tray in hand. Upon the tray are 2 cups of freshly brewed tea, exuding heat, and a teapot. Here you are, Harry. Sorry to keep you waiting. Hiyori sets the tray on the coffee table, then takes a seat beside me on the couch. I thank her and pick up my teacup. I blow on the surface of the tea a couple of times before bringing the rim to the cup to my lips and sipping. What do you think? Is it good? Yeah, it is. I'm glad you didn't use too much sugar. You remember what I like, huh? Of course I do. We've been friends for quite some time now. I've been cooking for you regularly. I have all of your tastes memorized, locked up here. Hero taps her temple, grinning. I'm not so good at recalling important factors or figures, but I recall almost everything about you. Really? And why is that? I don't know. I suppose it's because you're special to me. I am? Yes, very much so. I'm really glad I met you, you know, Harry. Hero smiles at me gently. Back in school, the girls in my class all teased me, and the boys didn't give me a second glance. They thought I was plain, and maybe I am. Part of me wonders if that's why I became so obsessed with the idea that I'm an alien. Hero frowns and crosses her legs. Not that it did much good. My assertions only made my classmates draw even further away from me. This is a bit embarrassing, but you're the first proper friend I ever had. The only person I feel like I can confide in. Well, you and Ina now. She's a sweetheart. I've been having fun with her, but I don't feel the same way about her as I do you. I like you a lot, Haru. Whoa. That thanks, Yori. Yori? I take a sip of my tea, hoping to mask the blush which begin to spread across my cheek. My heart is fluttering inside my chest like the wings of a butterfly. All of a sudden, I'm aware of my proximity to Hiyori. She's sitting very close to me on the couch, closer perhaps than is necessary. I'm used to Hiyori's treading her arm through mine, but this feels even more intimate. Maybe that's because we are alone together in Hiyori's living room. There's nobody here to stop us should things get serious. Not like that ever happened. I like Hiyori as a friend, but I certainly don't like her in that way. As for Hiyori herself, meanwhile, well, I'm like you a lot too. I reply, my voice questioning as I set my teacup back down on the table. You're a good friend. Thank you. I feel the same way about you. You're such a good friend to me. In fact, I want to show you something I've not shown anybody before, not willingly at least. This is a bit embarrassing, but your swallows then seems to come to some kind of internal agreement, and she raises her head, her eyes meeting mine, then says in an unwavering voice, I want you to know everything about me. You deserve to know the full truth. Okay, now that is starting to sound serious. I'm also expecting this to lead up to a confession of a crime of record. He already hasn't murdered anybody, has she? It'd be a surprise given how sweet and mild-mannered she is, but they do say you can't judge a book by its cover. Wouldn't it be any more shocking, really, to discover that he already has a body count, as it was to meet an actual alien like Ina? It's hard to say. My life really has become complicated. What truth are you talking about exactly? Did something happen? Not really, no. But I think something might happen because of this. I've been waiting for something to happen for a long, long while. My parents told me I was being foolish, my classmates too, but their opinions are irrelevant. I want to know what you think about this. Huh? She has a star mark on her chest. That must be what she means, because, I mean, taking it as it's her chest, I do not think that. Well, some girls that develop lately do waiting the would call a long while for getting the chest to come in, but well, it's kind of how it is sometimes. I mean, I heard eating actually consuming potato powder or whatever that was called that actually makes you develop into a person, well, an adult a little more quickly, but I mean, I can't think of any good reasons for that. But that was all I have for Sakura Alien. This time, that's Hit, like, and subscribe. I'll see you next time. Profile!